What's up, FHN? I'm Vanessa.
And I'm Max, and welcome back to this week's episode of The Nightly Show.
The walks into school this morning have been getting even more difficult. It's so cold outside.
I almost didn't make it here to film the show today because of all the frost on my windshield.
It just makes me want to stay home and read a good book.
Well, how about you see what the book club's up to then? Madelyn Clark just made a video on them.
FHN has many clubs to offer, one of them being Book Club. Book Club has been around for many years and has taken many shapes and forms, with the current sponsors being Miss Cease and Miss Willen, being in place for 2 years.
So we meet once a month on Thursdays during nighttime. We all get together. Everybody's read the book, or at least part of the book, ahead of time. We have a discussion, so ask questions about the text. We really let the conversation naturally flow. So while myself and Miss Willen, who facilitate, have like a list of questions to pull from, ultimately we let the vibe of the group and how their attitude towards the text kind of guide that. But while we're doing that, we are doing some type of activity that connects to the book that we read. We have snacks and drinks, and then we always send students home with something that also connects with what we read.
It's very chill. I feel like everyone is just welcoming, and we're all just there to have a good time and discuss what we love to do, which is read. It's usually pretty light, but sometimes when the books are a little bit like heavier topics, then we can get pretty serious, but for the most part, it's like chill and fun.
Book Club strives to be an open and welcoming club, so they invite anyone to join.
Anybody. I think like it's just like, you know, we don't have a baseline where it says you have to have read 12 books in your whole life and answer this literacy test. Like anybody can join, anybody should join.
You don't even have to come to all of them. You can come to like the books that you want to come to.
You always want a kid to read a book, right? Like I said, it comes down to practitioner literacy, all of these things, right? But ultimately it comes back to the community piece and the joy. And I think if nothing else, if a kid reads half a book, that's awesome. But at the end of the day, it's like, how do we cultivate joy through the contexts of books and like storytelling? And so for me, if kids are having a good time, if they're making connections with what they're reading, they're making connections with their peers and the other people in the world, that's what success looks like to me. You know, we have a purpose and we have direction, but fundamentally it comes down to that joy of reading and that joy of storytelling and that joy of community.
You know what would make chilling by the fireplace with my book even better? A good cup of coffee.
I couldn't agree more, but there are so many coffee shops to choose from. How will I know where to go?
Why don't you try Peace Love Coffee? It's a vegan cafe that Harper Schneider gave us a look into.
Peace Love Coffee is a small cafe located on Main Street since 2019. They have served the community, and their initiative is to be inclusive and educate people on living a healthy, plant-based lifestyle.
Peace, love, coffee, we're kind of like new age hippies, so we're all about like peace and love, good vibrations, things like that. My wife is a St. Charles resident. She grew up here, went to high school here. I'm born and raised here in St. Louis as well. So we do see a value in empowering and uplifting other small businesses. Not only do we own the coffee shop and the soap and the crystal business, but we own the building as well. So when we have other tenants that rent from us that come and want to start their businesses here, we teach them like what does it take to get licensed and insured to actually, you know, start up and run your own business.
As well as being an open space for the community, they further include the locals by serving a completely vegan menu and educate the community on a more sustainable lifestyle.
BLT, you can still get a latte, you can still get cream cheese and cheesecakes and things like that, but it can all be done plant-based, so much healthier, much better for the environment. So that was kind of the mission, was to do a plant-based coffee shop, which nobody else had done anywhere in the county.
There's so many different types of people who walk in here. You know, you've got the people with face paint and 10,000 crystals on them, who tell you their like third eye open name, but then you've got like people bring their grandparents in here and they're like, you just gave me an actual real hot dog, and we're like, no we didn't. that is a plant-based dog. Like the quality of our food, the environment we have, we very much made a name for ourselves in like high quality St. Louis vegan food.
In closing, Peace Love Coffee remains dedicated to forging a positive impact within the community each and every day. Their unwavering goal is not only to leave you with the sensation that their food is truly fantastic, but also to imbue every customer with the belief that peace, love, and happiness are not just abstract concepts. They are the very essence of what they serve. Reporting for FHN Today, I'm Harper Schneider.
Thanks, Harper. That was a great video.
If you're still in need of a coffee fix, Sun Club is selling coffees at the snack table on Tuesdays until winter break.
And now, Camden Blair has a video on the concept of absurdism.
An attorney lives in an urban area where he has to commute to his job. The man walks out wearing a cowboy hat and binoculars. They stroll down the crowded streets, giving compliments to all the people walking past him. He enters the subway, sits down, and enjoys his audiobook about dog breeds, despite him not having a dog and having zero interest in ever owning a pet. 30 minutes later, he arrives at his job and is ready for the day ahead of him. There wasn't any rhyme or reason to what they brought or the actions he made while on the commute. It was simply because he felt like doing it. They don't care if an onlooker thinks he's weird or if people around him don't appreciate his off-putting presence, because none of that matters. This is the basis of absurdism. Although very similar to nihilism, the belief that nothing matters, absurdism differs in one massive aspect. While nihilism has a cynical and depressing interpretation of life is meaningless, absurdism has a more optimistic, joyous outlook. Nihilism, a philosophy founded by German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, offers a grim perspective, in which it claims that, because your life has little to no effect on the world, there is no logical reason for you to have ambitions, work hard, strive for excellence, etc. Because if you mean nothing to the rest of the universe, then your attempts at making a difference are futile. The counterclaim is absurdism. Founded by the Nobel Prize-winning French philosopher Albert Camus, he wrote, "Man stands face to face with the irrational. He feels within him his longing for happiness and for reason." Instead of sulking about the idea you won't be remembered long after your death, he advocates that this is what makes life so beautiful. A week from now, none of the strangers you saw are going to remember what you were wearing or how you walked. This means all embarrassment is temporary, and there's no reason for you to not dress and act the way you like. Camus quickly became the face of the new philosophy, as he wrote many novels, stories, and books regarding the topic, including The Myth of Sisyphus, where he wrote the famous line, "One must imagine Sisyphus happy." This quote resonated with his French audience in 1942, who were recovering from the Second World War. While his audience loved him in the 40s, it could be argued that his messages are more relevant now than ever. Many people all around the world have found themselves working dead-end 9-to-5 jobs for wealthy elites with no sign of life getting better. Albert Camus' response to this unfulfilling life is that, you're right, the stuff you do is useless, and instead of trying to stop the metaphorical boulder from inevitably rolling back down the hill, you should embrace how frivolous your actions are and enjoy every aspect of it. This leads to the question, how do you live life absurdly? The answer is to simply live. Don't spend hours worrying about whether that girl in your class likes you back. Don't worry about if your coworkers hate the things you do in your free time. The best way to live your life to the fullest is to disregard all the meaningless worries and burdens weighing you down. Go swimming no matter how uncomfortable the water is. Go sing karaoke regardless of whether or not you have a good singing voice. And above all, realize that in the grand scheme of things, you don't matter.
Thanks for the insightful look, Camden. And oh, Max, did you know that AAA is having a meeting on December 15th?
Yeah, they're doing sushi and henna again, but this year they have a spicy ramen contest. Now finally, we have a video made by you.
That's right, it's a look into the new school building.
That's exciting. I can't wait to see it.
Next school year, FHN students will be moving to the highly anticipated new building. The new school has updated technology for the whole building, as well as larger spaces to accommodate the many clubs and extracurriculars at FHN. A feature of the new building will be the installment of sensor lights. Most classrooms will also be switching over to TVs rather than the outdated smartboards. The new school will offer more athletic facilities, including a new gym, tennis courts, and a football field. Esports will also have their own dedicated room for their meets and competitions. There will be 2 labs dedicated to publications, as well as a studio and trophy case. Food labs will contain new kitchens with microwaves, sinks, ovens, and stoves. A new auditorium will also be able to house the entire school with new lighting and sound system installations. Foreign language classrooms will include breakout rooms that provide a separate area for independent tasks. Similarly, the school will include new collaboration spaces made for 2 to 3 students to work together. The lower floor will be dedicated to industrial tech and art and will be receiving more power tools. The robotics program will receive new technology as well. The new school will supply the updated technology and spaces needed to house and enhance the skills of FHN students. Students will be able to roam the new specialized areas during the upcoming 2024-25 school year.
I wish I could see the new school in action.
Don't worry, we'll be sure to tell you all about it.
Well, that's all the time we have for you this week. Be sure to check out our socials at FHN Today and FHN Game Day.
I'm Vanessa.
And I'm Max, signing off.